Welcome, deep divers. Today, we are getting into one of the most delicious, ego-driven origin stories in modern industry. You can forget your corporate mergers or, hostile takeovers. This is a business rivalry born entirely from an unforgivable insult.
And mechanical failure, a very persistent one.
Exactly. So our mission today is pretty straightforward.
Yeah.
We want to trace the dramatic origins of the Lamborghini versus Ferrari rivalry. And it all starts not on a racetrack, but inside this cluttered northern Italian repair shop. You can almost smell the hot engine oil and, the palpable tension.
Oh, absolutely. The tension between two titans. Ferruccio Lamborghini, the incredibly wealthy customer, and Enzo Ferrari, the autocratic master builder.
And what's really amazing is how this single confrontation, which all starts with a failing clutch, completely reshapes the entire world of supercars.
It really does. It's a moment of pure friction. You have Ferruccio, the customer, standing there with a really detailed technical complaint. And across from him, you have Enzo Ferrari, a man who just does not suffer criticism.
Especially not from someone he thinks is, beneath him.
Exactly. So yeah, a simple clutch failure. But it becomes the spark for a global automotive war.
Okay, so we have this mechanical problem, the clutch.
Yeah.
But that problem is really just the collision point between two completely opposing philosophies, right? Before Ferruccio even opens his mouth, we need to understand why these two were just destined to clash.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Let's start with Enzo Ferrari. He was born in 1898, and he was, first and foremost, a purist.
A racer.
A racer through and through. He was obsessed with victory, and this is critical, with sacrifice. For Enzo, racing wasn't a sport or a business. It was basically his religion.
So then what does that make his road cars? I mean, the road cars were what funded the entire operation with.
They were, but in his own famous dismissal, they were just funding mechanisms.
Wow.
A means to an end. He poured every single ounce of his passion, his engineering, all of his resources into winning races. The beautiful, expensive cars he sold to the public.
Just a necessary evil.
A necessary evil to pay for the glory on the track, yes.
That explains the famous, or maybe infamous, Ferrari arrogance. It wasn't just a marketing thing. It was literally his worldview.
It was. So if a customer bought a Ferrari and it was loud or brutally uncomfortable or unreliable, Enzo didn't see that as a flaw.
He saw it as a feature.
Precisely. The philosophy was that if you suffered to drive the car, if it made you sweat, if it demanded all your attention, if it was difficult, well, then you deserved it.
It proved you were worthy.
It proved you were worthy of the power, of the legacy. So customers, they were tolerated for their money, but they were never respected as equals or critics. This dynamic is just a ticking time bomb.
Okay, so we have Enzo, the purist, fueled by racing and, frankly, a bit of contempt for his customers. Now let's look at the other side of this. Ferruccio Lamborghini.
Right. He's 16 years younger, born in 1916.
And his background.
He's the total antithesis of Enzo. Ferruccio is a mechanic first. He served in the war, came back, and saw this huge immediate need. Italy needed to eat, and that meant Italy needed reliable farm equipment.
And he became spectacularly successful at it.
He did. He started building these cheap, powerful, reliable, just indestructible tractors from old military scrap. He didn't just get rich. He earned the deep respect and love of Italy's farmers.
So he knew what reliability actually meant.
He built machines that worked flawlessly under brutal conditions, day in and day out.
And yet, despite the wealth, despite being a mechanical genius who collected and studied high-end cars, he owned Ferraris, Maseratis, Jaguars. Yeah. He was still seen as an outsider by the car elite, wasn't he?
Oh, completely. The old guard in Maranello, led by Enzo, they just saw him as a farmer.
The tractor man.
The tractor man. It was this sneering dismissal, class prejudice, professional snobbery, all of it. To them, he just didn't belong.
Yeah.
And that is the crucial context for when he shows up to complain about his clutch.
Okay, let's zoom in on that moment. Ferruccio drives his very expensive Ferrari, which has failed him again. And he confronts the commendatore. Can you break down that title for us? It holds so much weight.
It's hugely important. Commendatore basically means commander. It's an honorific, and Enzo wore it like armor. So when Ferruccio walks in, he isn't just talking to a CEO. He's talking to a man who saw himself as a dictator of engineering.
And Ferruccio, the mechanic, he presents the problem. Not yelling, but calmly, technically, laying out the design flaw in the clutch. He's offering free expert advice.
And this is where Enzo's ego just explodes. He could not stand the thought that a customer, let alone the tractor man, could possibly understand his engineering better than him.
So he doesn't even get up.
No, he refuses to stand up. He refuses to even consider the advice.
So it's not just rejecting the complaint, it's a total dismissal of the person. The sources say the insult was targeted, aimed right at Ferruccio's background.
It was a brutal declaration of class warfare. Enzo looks at the man whose money helps fund his entire racing season and says the line.
What was it exactly?
You may be able to drive a tractor, but you will never be able to handle a Ferrari properly.
Wow. That's not just, your complaint is invalid. That is, you are fundamentally unworthy of my product.
Exactly. It's a profound statement of contempt. And the sources say Ferruccio turned and walked out in absolute silence.
And Ferrari probably thought, job done.
He undoubtedly thought he'd won, dismissed an annoying customer, and went back to his spreadsheets. He could not have been more wrong.
So what's going through Ferruccio's head? He didn't just drive away angry, he drove away. Resolved.
Resolved, but also probably shocked by the laziness of it all, the refusal to even listen. The irony is just, it's overwhelming. Ferruccio mastered reliability, and Enzo, the master of speed, was failing on the basics.
And that insult gave him a purpose. But the problem isn't solved, right? The car still breaks.
Right, so after another clutch failure, Ferruccio does what he always does. He puts the car up on his own lift and tears into it himself.
And this is where we get the mechanical betrayal that changes everything.
It is. He pulls out the clutch, the component that's been causing all the stress and warping under the Ferrari's high RPMs. He inspects it.
Wait, I remember this detail. This is where it gets almost funny.
Funny, yes, but for Ferruccio, it must have felt like a cynical slap in the face. He realizes the clutch in his super expensive high-performance Ferrari. It wasn't special. It was identical. Same design, same metal, same supplier, down in the part number as the clutch he used in his own reliable tractors.
No way. So the very thing Enzo mocked him for was the weak point in Enzo's own masterpiece. That is astounding.
And it gets worse when you look at the money. Ferruccio knew exactly what that part cost. Ferrari was charging customers nearly 10 times the wholesale price for it.
For the exact same part, with no improvements.
Zero engineering changes to make it suitable for high-speed use. The price difference was purely for the badge.
Just because it had a Ferrari stamp on it.
It was pure cynicism. Ferruccio didn't just see a technical mistake. He saw laziness, complacency, and this profound disrespect for the customer. And he realized something.
That Ferrari was beatable.
Exactly. Their arrogance had blinded them to basic engineering integrity. That moment when he's holding that tractor clutch, the decision was made.
And he doesn't go back. He doesn't argue, doesn't ask for a refund. That chapter is closed. The next step is a declaration of war.
Yes, a radical and immediate decision. If Ferrari won't build the perfect road car, then I will.
And his vision was a total rejection of Enzo's philosophy.
A total rejection. He set out to build a grand touring car, a powerful machine for long distances, built for reliability, comfort, and speed.
So if Ferrari's motto was suffering proves worthiness, Lamborghini's was what? The driver deserves comfort and respect.
That's the mission statement. No racing, no compromises on durability, no suffering required. This was a direct philosophical challenge to the very definition of a high-performance Italian car.
And this declaration of war became physical in 1963. He didn't just build a factory anywhere.
Oh no, he put it right in Ferrari's face. Automobili Lamborghini opened in Sant'Agata Bolognese, deliberately just a few miles from Ferrari's turf in Maranello.
A geographic declaration of intent. I'm here.
I'm here, and I'm your competitor.
But the real masterstroke wasn't the location. It was who he hired. He went straight for the enemy's best people.
He knew the only way to beat Enzo's engineering was to poach the engineers who were fed up with Enzo's tyranny. Ferruccio offered them freedom to build the best machine possible, without the racing compromises.
And the prize catch was?
The biggest one was Giotto Bizzarini, the celebrated architect behind Ferrari's legendary V12 engines. Hiring Bizzarini was like stealing the blueprints.
So he basically bought the genius that made Ferrari.
He did, and he gave Bizzarini one simple instruction. Build me a better engine than the one you just built for Enzo.
And the result? The physical weapon born from that clutch and that insult.
That was the 1963 prototype, the Lamborghini 350 GTV. It wasn't just a fast car, it was a reliable, powerful statement. It proved that reliability and performance were not mutually exclusive.
The man Enzo dismissed as just a farmer was now on the global stage, using Enzo's own talent to beat him at his own game.
It's just incredible.
It really is. So we've traced this entire journey, the conflict between the purist, Enzo, and the mechanic, Ferruccio. All of it sparked by a common, overpriced tractor clutch.
You know, what this story reveals about innovation is so human. The greatest motivation to create something new often doesn't come from a market analysis. It comes from indignation.
Right.
It comes from a refusal to tolerate what you see as laziness and contempt. Ferruccio, the mechanic who was told he was unworthy, he didn't just complain about the product, he set out to conquer the entire flawed mindset that created it.
And that leaves us with a final, provocative question for you to think about. Given that Enzo Ferrari built his brand on the idea that a driver must suffer to prove their worthiness, did Lamborghini's unwavering focus on reliable comfort and usability? Did it fundamentally challenge and eventually redefine what a supercar was even supposed to be? Did the world realize you didn't actually have to suffer to achieve greatness? We'll let you decide that on the drive home.